So I'm gonna call the meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded by committee chairs. If any other persons are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. The purpose of this meeting is to prepare agendas for subcommittees for council consideration. No discussion or comments will be entertained unless requested upon by the committee chairs. Am I doing my own roll call tonight, or do you have the sheet? I know I was gonna.
I don't have the sheet. I was just pulling up committees, but it's probably better for you to do it.
I've got it here.
Great.
All right, Councilor Gilmore, I'm present. Councilor Gwynn told me he was not going to be able to attend tonight. He might be late if he gets out early, but we're not going to count on that. Councilor DeSorger.
Present.
Councilor Elmer.
Here.
Councilor Forgy.
Here.
Councilor Ricketts.
Present.
Looks like I have a quorum. And now let me just get back into my agenda again. All right. All right, the first thing I have under President's Notes is a presentation by Jonathan Merritt of Hilltown Health on updating ordinances and bylaws in regards to cellular communications, submitted by Councilor Jasper Lepiansky. I think I want to just leave this on President's Notes for right now. I don't think that having an individual come and present to the city council at our next meeting makes a whole lot of sense. And I believe this is something that we declined to take up pretty recently. Someone had submitted something to A&O about 5G technology. So if these two are related, I feel like we had already sort of worked on that one and decided we weren't going to change our ordinances. Yes, Councilor Elmer.
I know too much about this. You know, I don't know, 20 years ago, I picked up on the anxiety about what they called non-ionizing radiation too low powered to break cells, to knock electrons off cells. It never went anywhere. The government agency in charge of this decided to go forward. There are since emerged, some people seem to have sensitivities to non-ionizing radiation, and that's what this person has picked up on. I read his screed. It's a minority opinion, and I wouldn't, as an editor, I wouldn't give it airtime. That's my
just a point of order that she's going to leave it in President's Notes, so we shouldn't start a discussion.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do appreciate getting some of that history though. So let's leave it under President's Notes for now, because September, we've got a lot going on and this can wait. And then we'll figure out what to do with it. So the next one I need some clarification on. It says updated status of audit, discussion, RE appointments. Is this the police audit?
Yes, I think you guys tabled that at a previous council meeting while the mayor and Councilor Bullock worked out the method for an agreeable way to vet appointments, knowing that so the mayor has her hand up though, but I think that's about where you guys were.
Yeah, if you have something you want to provide, that would. Mayor, if you want to, if you want to weigh in, you're on mute though.
Yeah, I am. No, I was a little late getting. I had to find my hand first. So Danny had already started, but yeah, I think it's not appointments to other boards. I read it that way the first time I read it to President Gilmore, and then I realized there was a discussion about the authority of the mayor to appoint people to the task force, and it's pretty clear, in my opinion, in the charter, that the mayor appoints members of multi-person boards. So that's where the authority is derived from. But I have said all along, and certainly in my discussions with Councilor Bullock, have said I would welcome the input and suggestions of councilors or her, or however you felt like you wanted to handle that piece of it for the task force. So I may have one or two people I'd like to put on as well. I don't have a name yet. Only one person has contacted me that I said that was a possibility. So that's, I think, what it's about. If that
All
helps.
right. Yeah, so that's still sort of being worked out because I don't think that that's in its final draft format yet. So we'll go ahead and leave that under notes. Zoning amendment to rezone 41 Oak Hill Road.
Counselor
That's-
Gilmore, can I just remind?
I'm sorry. Yeah, slow me
May I-
down if you need to.
I just wanted to make sure, the audit discussion and tabling, that is a financial order, so just keep in mind that'll take 2 months to move through. So,
Wait, I'm sorry, are you talking about that second bullet point?
mhm,
Do we have a financial order tied to it already?
yes, you do.
Okay,
It's-
Chris,
it-
could you please?
Yeah, it's listed under Ways and Means.
Okay, then I'll be quiet. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll leave this part as far as like discussing the appointments on president's notes. And we'll leave the other part at Ways and Means. Okay, great. All right, so the zoning amendment for 41 Oak Hill Road, that should go to EDC. Formation of an ad hoc committee to review City of Greenfield Charter Sections 7.7 and 7.8. So that one's been on A&O. And I know that that committee is starting to come together. Dan's not here to sort of weigh in, so I'll just say we're gonna keep it there and he'll move it forward when it's time to move forward. I believe that's on the agenda for full council anyways.
Yes.
Proposed ordinance changes submitted by City of Greenfield department heads. So that's going into the code, right?
Correct. That's the leftover items from 2020 that got pandemically tabled. And Counselor Gwynn said he would bring them up at A&O this month and start those in the process.
Okay. Yeah, when
Counselor
he called
DeSor-
me today, he said that I was in the car, so I couldn't take any notes or anything. So
Yeah.
that sounds familiar. Judy, did you have your hand up?
She does.
I did. To go back one was when I put my hand up on 7.7 and 7.8. You saw we had somebody write to us. We'd already done 7.8. I think we'd reviewed 7.8 already. Are we reviewing indeed both? Just question.
We are in the sense that they are related to each other. I think that depending upon what the decision is, it might make it necessary to change the other one just so that the two, since they're such similar processes, I think that by having it this way, it leaves it open if we have to make changes to both. Because we don't know what's going to be decided yet. And maybe there is a change to one that makes it match the other and the other one doesn't get changed at all. I mean, we don't know until the committee does their work. Yes, Chris?
We voted. So it's non-binding. It's good for a year. So 7.8 can't change for a year. So it is 7.7. That's the focus.
Oh, no, I agree with you, but the point that I'm making is if there's like a little bit of a housekeeping change that doesn't, I mean, I'm not talking about some sweeping change that would like fly in the face of what the voters asked for, but if we're talking about clarifying language, it makes sense to tackle both of them together.
I'll make a note for the clerks if they need to clarify that with you guys.
Right. I mean, and it's possible that when they're done with their work, if this is very, very different from what we just voted on, it could always be sent back to the voters. We don't know. They could, and they might not even make any changes. I'm sorry, before I move on, was there anyone else that had anything on that one? Okay. So the proposed ordinance changes submitted by the department heads, okay, was tabled during the pandemic because everyone was turning their attention to other matters. Now it's back. That's going to A&O. Any questions on that one before I move on? Okay. Discussion on the proposed zoning change on French King Highway submitted by Councilor Healy. That one's gonna go to EDC. Okay. Governing entity with the authority to approve CPC. I would be willing, I'm not sure which subcommittee this fits on. I've been watching some of the back and forth via email. And there's a lot to sort of suss out there, I think. So Ginny, since you're the one who submitted this one, do you have a suggestion which subcommittee you think?
I heard back from Travis again, I believe. He was going to have a meeting with the mayor's office in MJ, and he would be happy to speak to council on this. I guess if it was a committee that it would go to, I would think it would be appointments and ordinances.
It could be, but it could also, yeah, I'm also thinking it could be economic development. It could also be community relations. I mean, ways and means. I mean, I think everyone has a piece of that.
True.
I just prefer that it just be the discussion between Travis and the mayor, and then they both report out to full council.
That's a
Because
good
they've been-
idea. So we could keep this on under president's notes, and then once it's resolved, then hopefully if it's resolved by the first week of October, then we'll be all set. Okay, so we'll keep that on president's notes pending that meeting. Okay, and inviting the IT director to attend council meetings. My understanding is that he's going to be attending through September and October anyways. Do we have to invite him every month? Or is he, I thought he had already been invited. That might be a question for the clerk.
So I can reach out and make sure that they've invited him specifically for those two. I know that in my role here, he has mentioned that he was planning on going for September. I don't think we discussed October, but yes.
Okay.
Thank
IT
you.
director.
Great. Next, I have appointment of an independent attorney for city council. I'm not sure who submitted that. I don't, because it sounds like someone's talking about a specific individual. Yes, Councilor Forgy.
I did not submit it. I just want everybody to know that. However, we were voted money in our budget in case the council needed some independent legal opinion. I don't think it's good to put an attorney on retainer. I think it's better, my opinion, if a issue arises that is, say, EDC in nature, that we contact an attorney that can help with that. I would think, I'm trying to think where this should go.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, because not only could the nature change depending upon the question, but my understanding, and I could be wrong, if anyone knows, please correct me, but I think that if you don't use your retainer, it still goes to the lawyer, correct?
Sure, that's correct.
And
That's
I would
correct.
really like that if we don't use the money, I would like to be able to turn that back to the general fund at the end of the year. So I think I
So-
agree with you there.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't think
so
it needs to be a committee. I think it needs to be an issue. If an issue comes up and a committee needs to have, some legal advice, then we usually reach out to the clerk, and then she has someone come to that committee's meeting or to full council.
So I'm just wondering about codifying this language somehow. And should it go to no one or
We've
to,
always been able to call council's always called for legal
It's
counsel.
really just
and
a
we need-
foundation, it's just it seems to me that it's probably just a change in the procedure at the end of the use of the attorney work in how one pays the bills, because there's the new line item for the council. So I think this is just maybe a note for the clerks that it wouldn't require anything at Ways and Means, because it wouldn't require an appropriation because it has been appropriated. It's just a matter of paying the bills when they come in, which I think the council clerk can do for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking this might belong in rules of procedure too, because I would hate to find out at the end of the fiscal year that there was one counselor who was getting legal advice without any of the chairs knowing about it. I don't think that it has to be controlled by the city council president, but I think it should be something that's overseen by the committee chairs.
So I'm
I
going
mean-
to suggest that this go to appointments and ordinances, because they also take a look at rules of procedure and code.
Yeah, that might be the best place. And since Dan's not here to really hear this conversation, I'll let him know that we're not expecting an answer in September. This is something that he could take up in October, so he has some chance, he has a bit of a chance to do some homework. And if he wants to invite any of us, we can.
Oh, that's perfect, because when somebody does need legal counsel, it's at chairs that it's brought up and discussed anyway.
I know, but I could picture a counselor just calling the clerk's office and saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. And the clerk being helpful, and then there's no oversight on the finances,
Yeah.
so.
And you have to remember, these rules and procedures have to be they have to work for a council, no matter who the council is. So it's probably good. Counselor Gwynn is a long time, couple different times counselor, and his committee is good at figuring out those things.
Yeah, I think he would do a good job with that. All right, next, I have amend zoning ordinance 207-17 marijuana establishments, marijuana indoor and outdoor cultivation, submitted by Councilor Virginia DeSorger. Do you want to? Is that the one that's on Factory Hollow?
It pertains to some of the problems with Factory Hollow. It defines indoor and outdoor cultivation. So I was thinking it would go to economic development. Charles Roberts reached out to me also and was hoping for me to attend their meeting on the 15th, Thursday the 15th, because they too see the complicities that surround marijuana zoning. But it did deal with more than just the definition of indoor and outdoor cultivation. So it was deeper than just that one.
Yeah, and I wasn't
Yeah,
able
that
to
one
read
copy.
any emails today. Work was too taxing. So I will get caught up on that. Councilor Elmer, did I see your hand up?
Yeah, I think it is in EDC's wheelhouse, and I wanted to add that we can talk about this later, but I've invited in Bernston, there's an indoor grow and a retail outlet about to open, and I've invited the management of that place to come talk to us at EDC. I feel like we're still in a fact-finding mode. And we still don't even know what the revenue is from this, how much, what the towns get. And I've asked also to see if we can get someone from Bernston Town Government, because they actually encouraged the Heirloom Collective to start a retail outlet because there's more revenue from the town. It just seemed like we could learn from what's going on in Bernston.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, so yes.
Well done.
All right, yeah, that sounds good. Mayor, did you have something you want to add?
I was just going to say, as far as the revenue goes, we only have one up and running in Greenfield, so we do get revenue annually, and it's quite a helpful piece of money. But the only thing that changed as far as revenue goes with the change in the law is we can't ask for the $15,000 upfront impact money. It'll have to be spread out over the life of the project, the business. So Eric and I are working on how to do that and how to revise our HCA so that it reflects that we are not charging a $15,000 impact fee anymore. So I can keep you up to date on that. We only met last week on it, and I think he was just going to present me with a draft of how he thinks it ought to read based on the new law.
Perhaps,
Yeah, that would be
perhaps
great
we
if
can
you
get
could keep
him.
us.
Perhaps we can get Eric to come to our EDC meeting to flesh that out. Thank you.
That would be great if he was available. I have a quick question though. You said that instead of the impact money being charged up front, it has to be spread over the life. I mean, I'm assuming that they plan to be there in perpetuity. So I mean, are we talking about like 5 years or 10 years or?
Well, yeah, I meant the life. I'm sorry, I
years.
meant the life of the HCA. They have
Community
a
host agreements are usually
Okay.
5 years.
yeah.
Okay.
They get renewed every year, and I think we can renew up to 5 years. So that's why I said
Okay.
we're sorting through that. And as far as I know, the percentages that we get from the state and the percentage we can charge did not change. It's only the impact fee.
Okay. All right, perfect. So EDC is on the case. Next is repurpose 3,585,000 from anaerobic digester authorization to sludge dewatering project. So Chris, that one's gonna go to you.
Yes, thank you.
An invoice from Baker's Office Supply is also gonna go to you.
Yes, thank you.
Mayor's appointments will go to A&O. And then resolution of the city council to agree to financial assistance. That resolution would normally go to Ways and Means, correct?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, because it's a financial one.
Correct.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so that's it for president's notes. So in addition to what we already listed, we've got the parking and bike lane on Main Street. And Phil, I don't know if your committee's ever gonna get to that. You have so many emergencies.
I think we will eventually get to it, but it's moving slowly in any event, so we have time.
All right, great. All right, ANO, we talked about rules of procedure. So I thought we were done with, oh, no, we had a question about that one, so that one got sent, okay. 7, 7, and 7, 8. Yeah, all those look good. All right, so CRE. So Councilor Bottomley was talking to some folks about housing in Greenfield. I haven't talked to them recently about this, so I don't know if those folks are ready to come and discuss that with CRE or not.
No, they were gonna reach out when they were ready, and they're just not ready yet.
Okay. Police audit and community engagement. I think that was kind of up in the air right now, correct? So you,
Yeah. I think it depends on whether Councilor Bullock's done with her last draft of the proposal, so.
right. Well, I feel like we want to have that last draft in hand before we put it on an agenda.
Okay.
So. Just out of respect for, everyone on the committee.
Yeah.
So Penny had submitted a request to have open forums and that would be discussed on CRE. Do you want to take that one up this month?
Sure, I just want to make the stipulation that it's open forums, but it cannot be on anything that someone's already doing. Like, for instance, I don't want people coming and wanting to talk about the French King because EDC's taken that. So, this is just something that we don't have a place anyone can go to talk about it specifically. So I'll try to write something up before this date that I can, submit out to the recorder, but it can't be about the taxes or anything else, not where another committee's already really busting themselves to work on it. So they can just bring up something new, and it's a learning experience too, because then, we can help them know that, oh, that's a school committee item, or, maybe you go to human rights or you go to the health department on that. Maybe it'll help some with some of the stuff when people come to talk, even at open comment at council all the time. And, you know, I know they always feel upset that we can never respond back to them. So at least this is a forum where we can hear more, but we can gauge how much is really going on and what people really want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. All right. Ways and Means is my next one. So that meeting is September 12th. So the items that we already talked about, plus the fire department.
And
Building
also-
project questions. Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to request that we invite the mayor or Danny, also Liz, David Singer, Neil, and out of courtesy, I'd like to do Penny as well, because Penny, Derek, and I were an ad hoc committee trying to look at different ways to do funding. Now, I don't know if that violates any open meeting law. I guess we'd have to run that by the clerk. But I would really, I would really like to be able to honor the work that that ad hoc committee did in regard to brainstorming about money.
Well, I wonder if we could post it as a joint meeting of those two committees.
Whatever it
Yeah.
takes.
That's possible. Liz has her hand up. Wait, so Counselor Forger, you said the mayor or me, Penny, Liz, David Singer, Neil,
Liz,
Liz, got it, Liz.
Liz has her hand up.
Yeah,
Yes,
so I had replied that I was at a wedding on the 12th.
oh, okay.
you can't reschedule the
Um,
wedding?
Thanks.
Sorry. So.
That's okay. Any questions we have can come to you the next day.
All right, thank you. And, you know, honestly, anything you would like to see, the sooner I get it, the question, the better.
Okay, no
So
problem.
joint meeting of Ways and Means and ad hoc funding, if possible.
Yeah, if that works.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you probably wanted the fire chief also?
I was gonna
Oh,
say
yes,
that.
I'm sorry.
Fire Chief Strahan. Got it.
Thank you. I'm terribly sorry. I left you out, Chief.
Okay, so that's the one on September 12th, which is a special meeting.
Correct.
I haven't seen anything about that, but it's possible that I just got left off the email by mistake. It's also possible that they're working on this election today.
They
So
are,
do you know if that, has that gone out yet?
doubt it.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to ask Ginny, did you get a notice of that meeting on the 12th?
I think I did.
Okay, I think everybody's been notified, but I have not heard officially back from the clerk's office. You're correct.
Okay, so I'll just follow up and hopefully, you know, maybe tomorrow they can just take a break and just, well, not a break, but catch up on everything that, you know, they've had to put off. And then maybe I'll try to follow up with them on Thursday and make sure we
That's fine.
dot our i's, cross our t's.
Excellent.
Okay. Regular Ways and Means is gonna be on the 20th. Gosh, that
Yeah,
seems
that's pretty-
late.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
the 21st is our meeting. Yep. So,
oh, okay,
it's full. It's a full agenda.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm
and
just going through this.
yeah, and it looks like it's all time sensitive too,
Mhm.
so,
So we'll be dealing with all of those things, all of those money items that you see that are listed on the 20th, and then the discussion items. I'm not sure. The only thing that I want to have happen and go first on that meeting is that we have an opportunity to speak with our treasurer, Kelly Varner, and also the mayor and anybody else, you know, Danny, whoever else wants to come to that meeting as well, so we can discuss the process as to text title taking. So I'd like that first on the agenda.
Sounds good.
And this one is just the mayor and Kelly Varner and the committee. This is not a public one, correct? Because the
It
last
is not
meeting was
public. No,
public.
no, there'll be no
Okay.
public comment or anything like that at this
Good.
meeting. It's just for these folks to let us know how this whole process works.
Is that on, at the meeting on the 20th?
That'll be on the 20th, yes.
Yeah, I will not be there.
I'll be there.
I'll be out of town, but Annie will be acting mayor, so I'll brief her.
Kelly-
before.
Kelly
Okay.
Varner, I'll make sure she's invited for that night and
Yeah.
then I'll attend with her. She taught
Okay.
me this exact topic, so that's perfect.
But she's first on the agenda, okay? So that's kind of what I wanted to have happen. Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, so for city council, we need to invite the fire chief, and I mean, he's expecting this invitation, I'm sure. So he's gonna talk to us a little bit about that. Take from the table. 175 general sewage. Okay, that's the task force that Counselor Bullock put together.
That is the original order from the mayor's
No,
office.
this is the
for
original order.
175. Right, the 175 was the original order from the mayor's office for the police audit.
Okay. Take that from the table. Approval to repurpose 57,955.54 of previously authorized financial orders for parts and repair of transfer station doors.
That's up in Ways and Means, so that's coming forward from Ways and Means.
All right, and then 45,000 for public safety community task force. So that's coming from Ways and Means too, I know, but
Yes.
do we want to have that on the agenda if we don't have the final draft format?
Well, you raise a good point. You do, and I would agree. Maybe we should just not put it on the agenda for this month, and we'll deal with it when we have, when
Yeah,
everything's been fleshed out a little bit more. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, as long as I'm not going crazy.
No,
All right. Well, at least for not this reason, right? So 1,750,000 for fire station. That's coming up. Rescind borrowing for 500,000 is related. Appropriate 500,000 for the construction of the new fire station. So those should all stay together. But did I see something?
Those are all
Okay.
related to all the financial orders that got read their first reading at the special council meeting.
Right, yeah, so those are all gonna stay. No, I was thinking, because we're gonna have the discussion with the fire chief, but that's gonna be during the portion where department heads talk to us, so we can't squish those together, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll hang out.
Yes.
The committee for 7-7 and 7-8, then the
Oh.
appointments. The resolution, okay, so the resolution probably should go in with the fire station stuff, so maybe we'll do that
Those are all
after.
Yeah, they're all related.
Yeah, just so that we can stay on the topic for as long as we need to. So the resolution, I think, can go right after. Where we appropriate 500,000 from borrowing for the construction of a new fire station. If we can do the resolution and then jump into charter section 7-7 and 7-8, I think that would make more sense.
All right.
Right, and Councilor Gwynn has to even see that and stuff, so I don't think it should be on council agenda. It's
The resolution,
the committee for review of charters 7-7 and 7-8.
well. No, so those are the mayor's appointments to 7-7 and 7-8.
Below, okay.
no,
No,
No.
it's not. It looks like it's a
No,
part
no,
of
no, I see,
discussion.
you're right, they're next to
And,
each
and
other.
that is not, it doesn't need to be this month. It's not important. I'm sorry, not sorry, but yes, this was something the community voted on, and I know what's trying to be done here, but it needs to just go to A&O, and it's not going to full council. It has no business there yet. I personally don't think it has any business at all being on here, but let's just let Councilor Gwynn deal with it in A&O, and he'll let us know when they bring it forward, when that whole committee gets together and can discuss.
So we could leave it here as a placeholder, and then if they don't finish an A&O, we can just table it. Do you think it's gonna take them more than 2 months?
Yeah, well, here's how I am interpreting this. I agree with Penny, because right now, that committee, my understanding of that committee, there have been certain people that have been asked to participate on that committee. And neither the mayor or Councilor Gwynn will be participating in that committee. My understanding is that it would be, what would be appropriate, in my opinion, is for Councilor Gwynn to announce at appointments and ordinances the members of the committee, and then charge them with the responsibility of seeking a solution to this. And then at that point, he'd kick it out to council for a vote.
Okay,
So
so hold
I
it till
agree with
October.
Penny. It shouldn't be on our agenda. I agree
Okay,
with
we can
Penny.
hold that till October, but if we're doing that, then we've got the appointment for the community to
still do the-
review.
Yeah, the appointment.
I
of
don't
the
think-
people who are on it.
Right, so if we're not gonna announce the formation of the committee, we probably can't have 2 appointments to the committee on our agenda, so we would have to take those off too.
They can keep those at the committee level along with the other stuff.
All right,
Yeah, let's just do it, because what we're gonna do is just start this whole snowball of stuff that doesn't need to be done. We're already getting emails of people saying, we've already voted on this. What are you guys doing? You're not even paying attention to what we just did. So we're just gonna snowball everybody into a corner, and it's gonna be really bad. So I'd rather let A&O just talk about it and take it off here. And again, we have some serious money issue things going on here.
that's
This 7,
true.
7, 8, it's not important right now. We just have too much to do.
Mhm.
All right, okay, so we'll hold both of those until October. The other mayor's appointments obviously can come forward. All right, that resolution already got moved. Okay, then first readings,
That's mine.
$3,585,000 for anaerobic digest. Okay, so that one, the office supply invoice payment,
Mine. Okay,
and then notice of proposed zoning amendments. We've got Oak Hill Road and the one about the marijuana establishments. Okay, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
All right, so when we have, oh gosh, how are we gonna work this out? So we're also going to invite Chief Haig and Lieutenant Dodge to our next meeting. They've asked to be invited. That is probably gonna have to happen in an executive session, so I'm not gonna list them under the department heads that we're inviting.
To full
We're just
council,
gonna-
right?
Yeah, so we're gonna limit that to the fire chief and the IT director. And the IT director probably doesn't have to like brief us the way he did last time.
So, and just get your reasoning for Chief Hagan Dodge. So the clerk knows.
That's, I
Yeah,
know,
but
that's
it's
what I'm
going to be
curious
under.
about. So I'm gonna ask the mayor here, because is this one to talk about ongoing litigation, or is this one to talk about HR matters?
Okay, thank you. Chief Haig reached out to me following a lengthy conversation he had with Todd Dodge last week, in which they both agreed that they would like to come to city council to talk about how they are planning to move forward, working together to bring the, build back trust within the department, build back morale within the department. They've agreed to work together on this. They've had a long-standing professional relationship as police officers many years, and they want to make sure that the city council, first and foremost, understands that they do want to work together to bring the police department back to where it needs to be, and to reassure the community that they have a fully functioning and not dysfunctional police department. And I commended them both for working that out together. And I said I would ask you, President Gilmore, if they could come. But I do believe it most definitely has to be an executive session, for the simple reason that they are both involved on the ongoing trial, the request for, the motion for a new trial that is actually working its way through the judge's chambers
I
right now.
actually think it's both reasons, because
It
they
is kind
might
of
be
both, yeah.
personnel reasons and ongoing litigation.
Yeah.
And it's not that it is all of that, but it may come up, and they want to be able to talk freely about that, I believe, and you guys may have questions about those details. So if the clerk
Okay.
can list that executive session as both.
I'm
I
gonna
do
have questions
think-
for you in a sec, but I want to go to Chris real quick.
So this, you are saying that this has to happen in executive session.
Yes. Are you asking me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am,
okay.
Laura. Thank you. Yes, I am.
I wish it didn't, but I think it does.
I know,
yeah.
I understand, Director Letourneau. I agree with you. The community right now really needs to hear from the two of them
Oh,
together.
I think they will. It's just that they asked for it to be an executive session because
okay.
they are
Okay.
going to be involved in the, we don't know what'll happen with the motion for the new trial, but either it'll be a motion for a new trial or an appeal, one way or the other. So to protect their own legal rights and employment rights, it needs to be an executive session. I think there will be a statement coming forth to the public.
I'm sorry, Councilor Forgy. I stepped in. Go on.
That's all right. I can't figure out which
I-
side I want to wave on here.
I was just going to say, I hope I was answering both of your
Yeah.
questions.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
so
I
my
love
question-
your job.
Oh, yeah, he's my whiny boy.
Oh,
So what I'm concerned about is the last time we had executive session, if someone asked a question that was like tangentially related to what we were talking about, Kathy would tell them they weren't allowed to talk about it. And she did it to all of us, right?
Yep.
She wasn't on anyone's side. I'm a little concerned about that, because if it doesn't fit into like that really, really narrow sort of scope, I'm worried that we're gonna be told we can't talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna put a note down to ask the clerks if you can list 2 reasons for executive session, which would be personnel issues, which is pretty broad, right? And with individuals who are employees of the city coming together to talk about how they're working together, that feels like that. If the other one is about the ongoing litigation, it should be pretty broad and it should help. But I will ask the clerk to see if they can suss that out and then get in touch with you, Council President, about it.
Okay, Jenny, did you have a question? Oh, Jenny, then Penny.
I had a question because twice we've had executive session where we just had the chief, and we were told before that there were to have 2 people in the room who were on different sides wasn't exactly the best idea. So I have a question, because one person is actually oversees the other person, would be the person who was would have the responsibility to discipline that person. Would we be having 2 executive sessions where we can talk just to Lieutenant Dodge, where he has the benefit that the other officer did, or we're going to do this together? And I'm just questioning it for actually on Lieutenant Dodge's behalf.
The two of them have asked to come together as two people, two police officers, two employees of the city of Greenfield. Can you not hear me?
I can.
We hear you.
Oh,
Did
good.
you, can you hear
But
us
they
now,
have asked,
Chris?
they have asked to come together. It's not a question of people being on two sides.
Ginny, would you like the clerk to reach out to Lieutenant Dodge with that question?
Certainly.
Is that something that procedurally
Yeah.
sounds?
If you were to ask me, I think it would be probably an executive session still under item number 1 primarily, but it does relate to litigation. I mean, the fact that it has to be an executive session does, but I think you could call it under number 1 again. Pretty clear, I'm pretty sure of that. Although I don't have it right in front of me.
Yeah, I think 1 was litigation, 2 is
No,
personnel. No.
number 3 is
3.
litigation strategy. Yeah.
So can we pause briefly? I want to try and get Chris's audio back. I can't
Oh.
see.
Oh, she can't hear. Okay.
Yeah, I can't see if there's a problem.
Oh, she's
Okay,
gonna
she's gonna
sign in
sign out,
again.
sign back in.
She got out and got back in, I saw already, so I'm gonna just
That-
watch for her.
Okay, maybe that was what caused the problem in the first place.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so next I had a question from Penny and then Phil.
Okay, the only reason I'm laughing and smiling is I understand the whole thing that we're talking about. But guess what, guys? We're not in executive session, and look at the participation list. So we could keep talking about it if you want, but I have a feeling, let's kind of end this if we can.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
we are getting dangerous.
everybody's out there and the media's out there. So what's gonna be the point in 5 seconds from now? So I just would like us to stop this conversation and have the president and the clerk and the mayor's office and the chief work on this together, and we get it off chairs right now.
Okay, Phil had a question.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 questions, actually. One, is the city council required to accept a request for executive session? And 2, can we request of these 2 guys that we not go into executive session? Is there a way that they could talk to us without going into executive session?
I think all those things are possible. I think as a, professional courtesy, if someone, just like we will invite a department head to come and give us an update. If they request to come give us an update, I feel like that's kind of a 2-way street and we want to have good relationships. We could always vote not to go into executive session. That's, your own personal choice. Chris, did you have something you want to
I
add?
just wonder to what end? To what end is this all gonna lead us to? That's what I'm asking. Because it was a courtesy last time. My question is, this is an internal, well, this is, in my opinion, this is a personnel matter on the executive side of government. So I am not sure what role the council can take in any of this.
That's fair. I don't know exactly what they want to tell us. I think the mayor does know at this point. Is this something that you feel is gonna become a council matter or the council should be aware of
No, I think similarly as before, it is a courtesy to come to the council first to state that they, I think Penny is correct. I don't want to say too much, but I'm comfortable saying that to state that they have met, they're continuing to meet professionally, and that they would be willing to come to the council and give you their thoughts on how they plan to move forward within the department. I don't think you're obligated to accept that invitation under any circumstances. But, you know, just know that at some point they will release a statement. I'm fairly certain. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm the gist of what I got to the public, and they wanted you to know about it first. So that's basically what it is. They're not asking you to vote on anything. They just, because you're uniquely and directly involved in various aspects of what they do, then I think they wanted to make sure that they appeared before you on this. The trial piece of it, the potential for a new trial piece is sort of runs along the side of it, because if you were to ask certain questions, I think they would have to decline those questions if it felt like they were going to jeopardize the ongoing trial. But they do have a right to say, yes, it can be in public session, but they also have a right under the law to ask for an executive session.
Question.
Go ahead.
And did they specifically ask to come and to speak to us, but did they both ask that it be in executive session?
Yes.
Okay. Mhm.
So I don't think I have a problem with, you know, hearing what they have to say. I just want to make sure that we've got the reasons, because I know that as I was thinking it through, they're very limited. I mean, you can't just go into executive session because you don't want, you know, so and so to hear, but there's specific reasons. So I'm comfortable with that. If people don't want to go into executive session, you can vote no, and you know, I'm certainly not going to judge you for that. I think it should be at the end of our meeting though, because I don't want to get into personnel matters before we get into you know, everything that's on our agenda. And we've got a pretty packed agenda. We've got a lot of financial issues that we're going to have to work through, and you know, I don't want us to go into that stuff tired. So I would ask that it be at the end, and then we would just adjourn from executive session. I don't know if anybody else had anything that they wanted to add. Yes, Phil.
I just want to say that a city council meeting, it's one thing if the mayor calls the meeting and she can set the ground rules, but a city council meeting in which if we end up in the same situation where we're told we can't ask that question or we can't discuss that topic is off, that really diminishes us as a city council. And I think that's not a good look.
But Phil, that's a rule of the open meeting law regarding executive session. That's not a who called the meeting issue. And the clerk just does that to make sure that people don't get into any jeopardy with open meeting. That would happen no matter who called the meeting.
And Councilor Elmer, that happens at school committee as well.
Okay, I'm not as familiar with that.
Yeah, they got to stay on one. If they go in executive session, nobody can veer off to a different topic.
And part of that is to protect the public, because they have a right to know how we're spending their tax dollars, you know, what we're talking about, if we're going to like change ordinances. So if our meetings are all held, you know, in smoke-filled back rooms or something like that, then they don't have any faith in their council. So those open meeting laws are there to sort of make sure that's not happening. And it does become really, really cumbersome and tedious when we're trying to like get at a matter, even when everyone has the best of intentions. Because I don't think that those rules were written, you know, with our specific, you know, issue in mind. They were just written to make sure that government is transparent. So
They're written to
anything
make
that comes
sure that
up-
it's difficult to talk about things in executive session because they want public bodies to only use it very judiciously and for very
Right.
specific reasons.
And then after, you know, if they make an announcement and that, you know, it all becomes public, we can talk about it in open session. Jenny, did you raise your hand or is it, oh,
I-
Phil, did
I
you have a
just-
follow-up before I move on to
Uh,
Jenny?
I did. It was actually to the mayor. At the end of the last executive session, we asked whether the contents could be released. We never got an answer.
I believe I sent an email. Yeah, I sent an email to the clerk that said that the tape could certainly be released, and that came from both the Clifford and Kinney firm that did the investigation, as well as the parties involved.
Austin, Attorney Austin,
Yeah, Austin Joyce, on behalf of the chief,
everybody
it-
agreed. I
Todd
don't know.
Dodge wasn't involved.
I think they, maybe the last attorney got in touch with the clerk on Friday, so it may not
Yeah.
have happened yet, but I'll make note for them.
Okay.
Kathy's been busy with the election, that's all. So, but yes, no, that I definitely sent an email to her.
Okay.
Said that.
It'd be good if the recorder knew that.
Well, I think they do now.
Yeah. Plus, they could, remember, they go to the clerk's office all the time, so everything's
I
public
think-
knowledge.
Yeah, and I think the clerks, we have to be generous with them right now. They're shorthanded and they're running an election. And the weather's crummy today, so.
Mhm.
And it's like proxy Monday. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fake Monday.
all right, Ginny,
Phil asked my question. I just wanted to know if that tape was going to be released, and it is. Thank you.
great.
I'm glad.
All right. So since we now know that that tape has been released and we had those questions that came up during, well, hold on a minute, let me backtrack. I think that what we want to do is after we have this executive session and we know what the topic is, in October, we are probably going to want the police chief to come talk to us about the open session parts of the matter. Because I know there were some things that we couldn't discuss in executive session, not because they were off limits, but because it should have been, it was stuff that wasn't related to the executive session.
Right.
And we'll see if that comes up. I just want to kind of like, I want to be penciled in, I suppose, is what I'm saying. Did anyone have anything else that we should add to this? Yes, Bill.
It was President Gilmore, following up on the problem I have at the Sustainable Greenfield Implementation Committee. Their meeting happens on the fourth Thursday, I think it is. And that coincides almost once a quarter, coincides with Apple's earnings release. So I'm missing 1 out of 4 meetings, and it would be great if we could get another counselor to fill in. So maybe we could bring that up at the next full council and see if we can get a volunteer.
Yes. Okay, we can bring that up. I'll put that under new business. We also need someone to serve on the mayor's task force for domestic violence.
Yeah, please.
And I asked Caitlin if we could hold off because I didn't want to put one more thing on Kathy's plate right before the election. And she said it was fine if we waited until after. So I will send an email to her and I will ask her to look for volunteers. And if no one volunteers, then I guess under new business at the next council meeting, I'll bring it up again.
I thought Counselor DeSorger, Counselor DeSorger had agreed to do it. Yes, no, Jenny?
I can take that. I
Okay.
had, and I actually let Caitlin know all the details. I'm picking up every day that my son has his grandchildren this year while he's building his house. So I apologized, but it just wasn't going to work because Wednesdays is a half day in Irving.
Okay. I'll let
Yeah,
her
and
know
if we
that.
don't find, oh, Patty, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just was gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, if we don't find
This is
anyone, we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a chairs meeting, not a council meeting, so I'd like to wrap it up if we can.
I'll second
Okay.
that motion.
Sounds good. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right. Bye, folks. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Go
Good
vote if
night.
you
Thank
haven't.
you.